All right, we're rolling. I got my co-host again, Robert Benenati.
What are we talking about
This
today?
guy never leaves me alone. I'm going to talk about today is there's really, there is such thing as time, obviously. But what I want to talk about is something I saw online where people are always talking about if they had more time in their life to do certain things throughout the day. Like if there's an extra hour or if they could, schedule certain things that they claim they don't have time for, which never kind of made sense to me to a certain degree. And the reason I bring this up, because I remember I used to like Prince in the day, long time ago. And I learned something from him where he didn't look at time like everyone else. Like, and the way I look at it too is like minutes. Like we were programmed to say there's 24 hours in a day. Mm-hmm. We're programmed to wake up at a certain time to a certain degree and work to a certain time. Okay. We create our own schedules, right? So it's minutes, hours, weeks, months, right? That's how we're kind of programmed. But if you really look at time, it's really your own, like you create what you're doing within that time and space. But a lot of us don't do that. So you may be doing things, say, based on a 24-hour day when you don't have to. Like, of course, it's supposedly 24 hours a day, but say in the past, an hour was, say, like in those biblical times, like say a year is 365, but then they lived to 800 years or whatever their calendar was. Right. But back to Prince saying, one of the reasons I think he mastered so many instruments, he played them whenever he chose to play them throughout the day, weeks, and he really wasn't caught up with scheduling. So say he'd wake up and do whatever he chose to do within that time. It wasn't like saying, oh, in 1 hour I have to play this, and then I have to go eat breakfast for this amount of time, and then I have to go do this for this amount of time, and then this for this amount of time. He just kind of did whatever he wanted to do within that time and space. Does that kind of make sense, Robert?
Don't we do that?
No. I think everybody is a lot of people are setting a schedule that kind of limits them from doing a lot of things they want to do. So it could be even you saying, I wake up at a certain time, have coffee, have to have breakfast, then I have to be at an office from some time to another time.
After that, 9 to 5. Yeah.
Right. And then I got to go be at a gym from this time to this time, and then I'm going to go home and watch TV from this time to this time, right?
Well, I think we're a little bit more structured, so we can hopefully fit more activities throughout the day.
Right.
I think the difference is, we are, even though we're kind of structured, because like you said, 9 to 5, and then you have lunch 12 to 1 or 12 to 12:30.
Right.
Then you get out of work at 5, travel time. Then you say, I'm going to hit the gym at 6 till 7. Then I got to go home and do whatever, right? So, but even most people that have that structure are just wasting time all day.
That's exactly where you're going to. I'm like, are they truly?
No, they're not.
No, right.
No, yeah. They're not being productive with the amount of time they have to certain things.
I couldn't agree more. Especially at night, I think as well.
Especially they're complaining they don't have enough time in the day. Look at really what you're doing.
Yeah.
Consider, okay, your travel time to work. Let's say you still have travel time to work, right?
Right.
If you're not working out of the house. But travel time to work, how long you're there, lunchtime, get out. That you can't do anything there because you're at work. It's what you do before and after.
Exactly.
So if you don't have time, then wake up an hour earlier and do certain things.
Right, another hour within a day.
It's well occupied, well used, goes a long way. But the thing is, a lot of people still wake up an hour before and just waste time.
Let's put it this way.
So it's time management.
Yeah, for sure. When I was making films, I had 2 daughters. So I had to make films at night. I kind of ripped that off Back to the Future because I heard they made a majority of that film at night. And I said, if I've got 2 daughters throughout the day and I still got to work, how am I going to make films? So I decided for the most part, let me do them at night. And I was shocked at how many things I got accomplished when working at night or doing things. I made a whole film and worked out. We did a lot of late night shooting after I put my kids to bed, which sounds crazy because everybody else is going to bed a lot of times, like a lot of my friends that were fathers, their day is ending at 9 o'clock, right? Or 8 o'clock. They're sitting down and watch The Sopranos, watch cable, sit on their ass till midnight or whatever. I was taking off to go work out and make a movie. I had no schedule, really. My schedule was just to basically get of course I had a schedule because I was shooting a film. My point being is I really was using up all the time to my advantage, not just kind of wasting it.
You were being productive. That's the difference. So you had the same 4 hours. They had the same 4 hours you did, right? Let's use 8 to 12, midnight, right?
Yep.
They were sitting down on their asses just watching sitcom, but you were doing something for the next 4 hours. And let's say within those 4 hours, you were only productive 2 hours. Add 2 hours a day for 5 days a week. That's 10 hours a week. That's 40 hours a month of production.
Yes.
Of being productive. There's a big difference.
Exactly. I did that too. I read about guys that are authors a lot of times that had families too or wrote screenplays that it was almost impossible for them a lot of times to write throughout the day because they had kids or they had another job or all these things that when everything shuts down is an unbelievable time to get so much done. And that's kind of still what I do now.
It's the downtime or the alone time, right? And that's when you sit down and for writers, for example, if they schedule and say, you know what, I'm going to give myself 1 hour a day from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and get shit done.
Yep.
If by the end of the month, they wrote half a book, let's say, right? Versus you trying to do things and you don't know how and you do a little bit here and a little bit there or sit for 4 hours but don't write anything. At the end of the month, you haven't written a page.
Yep.
Right? So, again, it's kind of that sense of what you're saying, doing whatever you want, but being productive with that time.
And there's a lot of things
versus being scheduled.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things within doing something, you could do something else. So say I'm flying, like I flew for so many years, say 12 years, 13 years. I'm flying all over the country. I couldn't stand watching movies on the airplane. I couldn't hear anything. So basically, I literally wrote probably 2 or 3 screenplays while traveling, and then I wrote 2 books and even created a program. But everyone, when they looked at me, and I also had a fly and then I had to work. Okay, and a lot of people are like, I can't fly and then write and then go work. Why not?
Yeah, you're traveling for 2-3 hours. I mean, use that time.
Exactly, especially if you got 2 flights. I'm like, that's 5-6 hours. Well, that's part of working. You're got to be tired. I'm like, what am I going to do? Just sit on my ass and accomplish nothing? Mm-hmm. Even if it was just reading. But again, I think people don't realize that you have Here's the thing. I think people just got to realize they get programmed to be or do something, and they cannot break out of it. They cannot break out of it, especially at night. I don't know why a lot of people are so programmed to start early and then cop out early, which I kind of get. But I think a lot of people out there do not realize that after 5, 6, 7 o'clock, a lot of times your kids may not want to be bothered with you. Dinner's over. They're going to go in their rooms. They don't want to be bothered. You have all this time to do so many things.
Well, there was a study about that, about what time are you more creative. So depending on what you're going to do, right, or what your job is for that time. Some people are more creative in the morning than at night because by the time 7, 8 o'clock at night comes around, you're just burnt, right? Your brain is fried.
Yep.
So now you can't be creative. So what you do is you swap that timing and wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and from 5 to 6:30, so you have an hour and a half, you're super creative. You have coffee. I don't know if you do. You wake up, you snap in, and boom, and you start being creative. You start writing whatever you need to write, create content, whatever it is. You did your work for the day, right? Some people do it backwards. They're night owls, and they just function at night better. So now you wait until everyone goes to bed, 8, 9 o'clock, and from 10 to 12, 2 hours, then you're creative. Then you're doing your work. So figure out what works for you.
Exactly.
A lot of people, with YouTube, they follow other people's. Well, this is the way I do this, I do that. Well, it might not work for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people wake up at 5 in the morning, go train. What happens if I just can't train at that time? My body doesn't respond. All right, then swap it for something else.
Right. I was married for years with 2 people that had 2 different schedules. One's an early bird, one's a late owl, right? Let's just say. Mm-hmm. But take me, for instance, and Rhea, we both take a nap. This sounds crazy at like 9 o'clock at night when I come back from the gym. So, we eat dinner late if we don't do the gym, whatever. People make fun of me from like, say, 9 to 9:30. I'll take a late nap. Then I am refreshed to go to like 2 in the morning. But my point...
But you see, you choose to, and that works for you because you choose and you know that you will be up to 2 in the morning. But maybe you wake up at 9 versus 6.
For sure. But what I was going to say is, with doing that, how was I going to word that? Two things. One is I found somebody who kind of has the same schedule as I do. Because I think a lot of us get caught up in a relationship following somebody else's schedule. So say your wife or whoever's like, 7 o'clock, we got to sit down and watch TV. And you're kind of locked into somebody else's schedule to do what they want to do for a certain amount of time. Rhea is kind of like, she knows I'll nap from 9 to 9:30, 10. She kind of does stuff later, and then I'm kind of kicking it in the ass. Like, I don't stop doing it. But I can do that in the morning, too. If I get up, I can go for a certain amount of time. How do I say this? I'm not on anybody else's schedule a lot of times because it's a freedom type thing.
Right.
And I think a lot of us, and you know that, I think being in a relationship, a lot of times with your wife or your kids, you find yourself in somebody else's schedule, or you come home and you mentally think, it's 8 o'clock. This is my downtime. I'm done. But you're really not really that tired, but you just sit there for 4 hours doing nothing. And then you're going to go lay down for another 7 hours. So if you look at that, that's 11 hours. A lot of people are just sitting around. Even weekends, that.
Yeah, I rather, you know what? I'd rather take a nap, right? If I feel tired.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know, 4 to 5, right?
Right.
So I take an hour nap.
Yep.
Because I listen to my body.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just laying down, watching TV, doing nothing, I'd rather take a nap, refresh my body, my mind, and then come back up at 5:30 and kick it in the ass again for the rest of the evening.
Right.
Right? But not just spend the time. Now, these days, don't get me wrong, we're all human.
Yeah.
These days, I just don't want to do anything.
Of course.
Today, I just want to lay down early, watch TV for an hour or so, and then...
I am with you. There's no question about that.
What happens sometimes is I'm still on my computer doing things because I remember, and I'm watching TV, but I'm on the computer.
Yeah.
So really, the TV's watching me, not the other way around, right?
Yep.
And I'm just doing more work because it pops into my head, and if I don't get it done, then there's no excuse. Oh, I didn't have the time. No, I had the time. I just pull your computer, do whatever you need to do. Work at it, and because that is more important than the show.
Sure.
For me, at
that's
least.
what I do too.
You see? So
yeah, I kind of hit 2 birds at one stone. If I'm watching something, I'm on my computer. I just keep doing what the hell I want to do with my time. It's almost self-centered and selfish, unless my kids are involved or Rhea wants to go. If it's going to dinner, and all those
I mostly
things.
do the same. I do what I want, what I need to do, get it done. I'm on nobody's schedule. Now, if they ask me, I need you tomorrow from, 2 to 4.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
No issues. So I do everything I want to do before and after, but 2 to 4, I dedicate my time to you here.
There's a lot of time in a day.
That's part of having a relationship with your kids and your wife.
Of course.
And whoever, so.
There's so much time in a day. Even we've talked about it. 1 hour, if you want to work out a day, that's only 4% of the day. Like if you want to do something, think about it. If you just, I don't care if you want to write a book. I don't care if you want to start a website. 1 hour a day is 4%. Think about it in a month. That's 30 extra hours.
If I work out or bike,
yeah,
I'm listening to a podcast.
We're kind of like that. We're kind of multitasking.
So I'm doing two things.
Of.
So I'm kind of learning something I want to listen to, but I'm working out at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? The only time I can't do that is if I'm playing racquetball.
Yeah.
Because I'm active. I'm just, I can't do it. But besides that, even around the house, I'm doing stuff around the house on the weekends.
Yeah.
I have I'm listening to a podcast.
Yes. We're obsessed with information, me and you. We're not obsessed with.
I'm more obsessed of not wasting time.
Exactly.
More than just.
But it's learning.
Yeah.
Right. You want to learn. It's not like me and you are going to be playing Motley Crue constantly when we're at the gym.
No.
Music. We're kind of like podcast, or we're kind of like a YouTube video that's going to teach us something.
I want to learn one thing.
Exactly.
It's just one thing that I could learn in that 1 hour. I'm fine with it.
Exactly. I'm down with it. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. We're almost at 15 minutes. We're dragging these out now. Jeez, they were supposed to be 5 minutes.
Don't waste your time. Use it wisely. You have enough time in a day. Just figure out what's important. Set your priorities. Double task.
A lot of people think multitask. Yeah, that's right.
But I would double task, meaning work out, listen to podcasts. Drive, listen to podcasts. Work around the house, listen to podcasts. Like I said, watching TV, but at the same time, if something pops into my head, I pull out the computer and I'm working on that.
Yeah, and do a lot of things you want to do. I know it's hard with me. We're older now, but when you get in relationships, a lot of times you feel guilty, especially if you first get married or you're in a relationship, to do a lot of things you want to do. You think you always have to be with that other person, which is understandable. But a lot of times that shit leads to a lot of you losing a lot of freedom to do a lot of things.
I love my relationship with my wife. Is so understanding, so she's so chill with that.
Yep.
Sometimes we go to this cafe.
Yeah.
And if we could go together, great.
Mm-hmm.
Spend the time. But she's on her computer, I'm on my computer. But
Yeah.
we still spending time together. It's still, for us, it's still considered quality time because we could be at it alone, but we could still, and at any time I could show her something, run an idea by her. She could do the same. We could have a conversation. I could stop working for a second.
Yeah.
Right? And listen to what she's got to say. But then again, when we both have our things to do, go do it.
Exactly.
I know how important it is. Go take care of it.
Exactly. If you truly love each other, you got to give people freedom to go do what they got to do.
She is.
Look, his wife's calling him right now. She's stalking him. She knows he's with me. I'm a bad influence. Yeah, so, and Rhea helped me write my book, Wingman. She helped me with my program. I actually like communicate. Like, if I'm in a relationship, I want them to be a part of what I'm doing, but they also have to understand, don't bother me when I don't want to be bothered. It's nothing personal. Yeah. Even if I want to go to a movie by myself to see a movie I don't even want to be bothered with taking them to because I know they're not going to enjoy it, just let me go do whatever I want to do. Yeah. I want to go to Barnes & Nobles. I want to go to coffee by myself this time, not without you. I just want to take the dog. I don't give a shit. All right, let's wrap it up there, Robert.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Any questions, comments, hit us up. We got to take some new photos for these covers. All right, take care, everyone.